Hey guys, Pton here. Today, as you can tell from the title, I'll be doing a deck profile for standard V-Series Cardfight Vanguard Oracle Think Tank. So this is actually my first standard deck profile that I'll be doing on my channel. So this deck does not belong to me actually. This deck it belongs to Ling, right? And I'll be helping her do a deck profile on it. So yeah, Oracle Think Tank. Without further delay, let's get started. So Oracle Think Tank is a Protect clan, so of course we'll be needing the Protect gift markers. Protect, unlike the other two gift markers, Excel and Force, can be replaced. Is recyclable, so you don't really need that many copies. Well, it's good to have as many copies as you have grade 3s in your deck. I think practically 2 or 3 is enough because you'll be using Protect gift markers very often, and just got it. And every time you use one, you can just put it back to the gift marker zone. So next turn, if you were to write a grade 3, you can just take back the same Protect gift marker. So, and we have 3 of the Misaki guns from the first booster box. So to the main deck, we'll start first with the grade 0s and then to the grade 3s, and we go down from there. So the starter is Sentinel-Draw, the very standard starter for standard V-Series. I wrote a Pton draw card. Nothing much to say. You can either play this or White Nurse Rabbit, doesn't matter. But Ling, I think she prefers Sentinel-Draw Magus, so yeah. Alright, let's start for the grade 3s. So for the grade 3s, Ling is playing 3 copies of OTT's VR Imperial Daughter. So, skill is upon writing, counter +1, look at the top 2 cards. One to hand, the other to soul or the top of the deck. Furthermore, if she's ridden on a grade 3, she gets 15,000 power and +1 critical. So she's a little like a break ride from back in the days. So she's a really good card. She does a lot by herself. She filters, right? She gives you a hand card. She either stacks the deck or gives you a resource in the form of a soul, and also forces out sentinels with her high power and +1 critical. Which I don't think anyone is gonna like say no guard, especially to OTT, where you guys have like slight control over over your drive checks. So she's also able to power up the rear guards by 6,000 power with a Soul Blast. So it's a once per turn effect here. Activated once per turn. Power up by 6k. 6k is a really nice number. Allows some of your cards to hit false numbers. And yeah, but she's only run at 3 copies in this deck because you don't really want to write her first. Because as you can see from her first effect, she needs, in order to like fully utilize her first effect, you have to write her on top of a grade 3. And because it's OTT, right, there's a lot of like filtering, there's a lot of draw power. You'll be able to draw into her almost every game. So I've seen Ling play this deck for like an entire day, and she's never not ridden into Imperial Daughter and used that full effect before. Yeah, she always manages to draw into it, either in the beginning hand or somewhere in the mid game after she's ridden other grade 3s. So yeah, 3 is reasonable and works perfectly fine, and she also gives the not force marker, but the Protect gift marker. So 3 copies of that, and this is the grade 3 that you want to be riding most often. First, CEO Amaterasu. So played 4 copies, maxed out. Her effect is counter blast 1. Look at the draw a card, look at the top covered deck, and decide if its fate. So you either put it on the top or the bottom. Second effect, Vanguard rear guard. When you look at a deck, do 2 effects during your turn, she gets 5,000 power until end of turn. So this activates for look, reveal, and search effects. So her own effect, as you can see, look, allows her to gain 5,000 power. So every time you use that effect, which you definitely would want to be using because it's a really nice plus, she can power herself up, making her 17,000 at least. And even if she's on the rear guard, she also works pretty good on rear guard, because even if she's on the rear guard and you write Imperial Daughter, you use Imperial Daughter's effect to look at top 2 cards, she also powers up from the rear guard as well. So not bad, 17,000, pretty decent. If you activate this effect twice, she hits for 22,000. Not bad against SL and Protect. Able to hit SL and Protect, good numbers. Right. So yeah, and she's really good as a first grade 3 ride because she helps you to, because of a really nice draw power. She helps you to set up for a late game by helping you draw into your key pieces, your key combos, and really nice. Lastly, the last grade 3 that Ling plays in the deck is Victorious Deer, the so-called finisher for OTT. And with good reason, and for good reason, because let's have a look at Victorious Deer effect. Once per turn, Vanguard or Rearguard, Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, discard a card from your hand. You can look at the top 7 cards of the deck, reveal up to 2 critical triggers from among them with the revealed cards. On the top of the deck in any order, shuffle the rest of the cards that you looked at, put them in the bottom, and 6 units get 10,000 power, which essentially is your entire field if you have a full field, which is not that difficult to have, not that difficult to build. So Victorious Deer allows you to stack critical triggers, and yeah, Victorious Deer is pretty much only playable once you've ridden like 2 grade 3s that game. So yeah. Yes. So just able to stack critical and powers up the entire field, even though the power boost is not as high as like Soul Saver Dragons, but the fact that you get to stack critical triggers, in fact, especially in the late game, is actually quite terrifying. So really nice. And also, if you have CEO Amaterasu on the Rearguard and you ride Victorious Deer, you can also power up CEO Amaterasu. Yeah. And the good thing is that Victorious Deer doesn't, you don't necessarily have to ride Victorious Deer to use its effect. So it can be like, on that turn you have these 2 cards on your hand, you can choose to write 1 Imperial Daughter, activate Imperial Daughter's effect, blah blah blah, and then call Victorious Deer. Your Vanguard is going to be powered up to really high, and if your opponent doesn't have any Sentinels to stop, it's quite difficult to survive that turn. So yeah, she plays 9 grade 3s in this deck, quite a number, but it's okay because the Protect Gift marker gives you an incentive to write. You definitely want to be rewriting all the grade 3s because every time you write 1 grade 3, you're going to be getting a Sentinel into your hand. Yep, that's the whole point of Protect. So yeah, 9 grade 3s. Let's move on to the grade 2s. Starting first with 4 Promised Daughter. So Promised Daughter her artwork reminds me a lot of Imperial Daughter. So her effect, Vanguard. During the battle that attack the Vanguard, if you have 4 more cards in hand, you get 6,000. It's a really easy condition because it's Oracle Think Tank, you draw a lot, and also yeah, and also the 15k really helps against force grade 2s, especially on grade 2 turns. 15k is a nice number against grade 2, right? Yeah, forcing against grade 2, 10k grade 2s. Yeah, forces 10k grade 2s. Her second effect is it cannot be retired due to your opponent's card effects. It can be chosen, but it cannot be retired. Really nice against Kagero, and possibly against some Shadow Paladin cards, which require the opponent to choose a card. And if you're the opponent of the Shadow Paladin card and you have this card on the field, you can just choose this, and she's not retired. So yeah, Promised Daughter is really nice. Nice, easy 15k attacker. Next up is 3 copies of Yellow Witch Mimi. When placed, look at the top cover deck and put it on the top or bottom. Really simple skill, but really effective. Allows you to help you to get like better drive checks, or helps you to keep key cards on top of the deck so they can draw into them, stuff like that. And also, if you call her and activate her effect, if you have a CEO Amaterasu on the field, CEO also powers up, so not bad. Yeah, there we go, Mimi. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Goddess of Insight, Sotoorihime. Let's have a look at the artwork. So I don't know whether it's clear to you guys, right? But it's okay. Skill is when it attacks the Vanguard, counterblast 1, draw a card. Discard a card from your hand. She gets 6,000 power, just like Promised Daughter, becoming a 15k attacker on the end of turn. And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, she also gets Mimi's effect. So quite a lot of things going on with this 1 counterblast. Really nice, even more filtering and even more like divination. Yeah, that's pretty good. Sotoorihime. And the last grade 2 is Silent Tom. Only played it 2 because, well, just personal preference, whether you like this card, whether you like this effect. Skill is when placed, counterblast 1, gets 6,000 power, allows him to hit for 15,000 power. During the battle that I attack the Vanguard, your opponent cannot call normal units to Guardian Circle from hand. So a little bit different from, it's quite different from what Sun and Tom's effect previously was. So now your opponent cannot call normal units. Yeah. So in order to guard Sun and Tom, they can only intercept or guard with triggers. So this is sort of like forcing people to play like perfect guard, the draw trigger perfect guards, because for easy guarding against Sun and Tom. Yeah. So for the grade 2s, there we go, that's the 11 copies. I would say Promise Daughter is, you have to run this card at 4 copies. The rest, I think it's up to personal preference, up to choice, up to play tests. I wouldn't mind taking out Silent Toms, honestly, for more like Mimis or Sotoorihimes, but I think 2 copies is fine. It's good enough. I still see. I believe Ling still sees Silent Tom every game, so especially with the draw power this deck has, so I think it's okay. Let's move on to the grade 1s. Starting first, we have Oracle Guardian Gemini, grade 1 8k, 3 more cards on damage zone, counter charge, soul charge and counter charge. 4 copies because this deck can be really counterblast heavy at times, especially if you're going to be using like CEO Amaterasu every turn. Imperial Daughter also requires a counterblast. Sotoorihime also requires a counterblast. Wait, yeah. And if you want to use Silent Tom's effect, it also requires a counterblast. But the counterblast is most often used by CEO Amaterasu because of how good it is. But still, yeah, Gemini just provides that option of counter charge. Not bad. And also gives you an additional soul which can use for Imperial Daughter Soul Blast. Next you play, or she plays, Farfalle Magus at 3 copies. Farfalle Magus is basically Yellow Witch Mimi, but a grade 1 version, so you can decide the fate of the top card of the deck. So once again, powers up CEO Amaterasu. So really, CEO Amaterasu works really well with a lot of the cards in this deck. Yeah. Next, 2 copies of Luckbird. Soul Blast 2, on call, draw a card. Luckbird gets 6k, becomes an 11k booster for the turn. 11k is not bad. Right. 11k boosting a 9k grade 2 becomes 20. And if most of grade 2s in this deck get 6k, so it'll be 26,000, which I think is pretty decent numbers. So yeah, and Luckbird provides more draw power for this deck, and provides more draw power for this deck, even though he has like pretty low power, but he powers himself up for a turn, provides draw power. I think it's not bad. I mean, you can play at 2. 2 I think is a really good, it's a decent number already for Luckbird. And the Gemini also adds soul, so you don't have to worry about not having enough soul. You need 2 for Victorious Deer, 2 for Luckbird. Your grade 0s and grade 1s can be the 2 for Luckbird, or maybe grade 2. Yeah, grade 0, grade 1, grade 2. The only cards that are going to be soul blasting grade 0s, grade 1s, and grade 2s from the soul will be Luckbird and Imperial Daughter. Next, she plays 2 copies of Goddess of Tide of Times, Mizunohame. The Vanguard booster, 3 more cards in the damage zone get 6k. So, very, what do you call it? Very reliable Vanguard booster. Easy condition to be met, and it's a 14k booster. Makes some awkward numbers on Vanguard, with the Vanguard, but I think it's okay. Yeah, it's not bad. 14k helps you hit really high numbers as well. Because 14k is a false number, sort of. And to finish up the grade 1s, Ling plays 2 Circle Magus. Circle Magus is a really nice card. So 2 effects. When rolled upon, counterblast 1, draw a card. Reminds me a little bit of Lozenge Magus, but it's a really counterblast, which you definitely have because unless your opponent doesn't want to attack or cannot hit your cards, but most of the time they will definitely give you that 1 counterblast that you will need. Second effect is when your drive check refers a grade 2 or greater card, put it on the bottom, draw a card. So once again, it goes with the nice OTT theme of deciding fates of cards. She allows you to get better drive checks, like not in the sense that you pull more triggers, but in the sense that you get more useful cards out of your drive checks. So every time you see like additional grade 3s you don't need or grade 2s you don't need, you can just put it into the bottom and draw a card, possibly increasing like your defense. Yeah. I think Circle Magus can be run, should be run at more copies, but not sure which cards to take up in this deck as of now. Yeah. Because Circle Magus is a nice red target for the deck as well. And I think those are the normal units for the triggers. 6 crits, 3 of each, just so you can throw your opponents off. Nah, just kidding. Because we want variety in the deck. And then for draw triggers, play 6 draw triggers, 2 miracle kits, the 5k draw trigger, and 4 of the perfect art Sentinel-Draw trigger. Weather forecasting is missed. So definitely have to play 4 copies of this. Really useful. And it's just a Sentinel. So this deck actually has access to a lot of Sentinels, along with the protective markers. And of course we end off with 4 Sphere Magus, the heal trigger with the 20 beefy defense. So that rounds up the deck profile for Oracle Think Tanks. So this deck actually has been out for quite some time already, because it's out since VBTO1, and now it's like we're going to like VBTO VBT02 already. So this deck has proven to be really powerful, if I'm not wrong, and because of its ability to draw and filter through the deck easily, allowing you to gain like high defense and consistent drive checks. Basically, with all the with all these cards like Farfalle Magus and Meme and CEO Amaterasu, you can just look at the top card of that, and if it's not a trigger, put it at the bottom. If it's a trigger, leave it on top. Or if it's a key card in your combo like Victorious Deer or maybe Imperial Daughter, stuff like that, you can just leave it on top and draw it out with like Luckbird, or with Luckbird, Sotoorihime, things like that. And because getting triggers in standard is also now really important, and Oracle Think that actually has and also Oracle Think is, and also it's very consistent. The drive checking triggers is pretty easy in Oracle Think Tank, I would say, for the reasons mentioned above. So yeah, that's the entire deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile of Oracle Think for this Oracle Think Tank deck, and thank you guys for watching. Bye guys.